Florida. Every single year, nearly 500,000 people pack up their lives and move here, chasing the weather, the tax breaks, and the promise of a better life. No state income tax, 315 days of sunshine, retirement paradise, real estate gold rush, the American dream with a palm tree out front. But here is what the relocations brochures don't tell you. Florida recorded 33,591 violent crime arrests in a single year. Nearly half of all Florida residents, by 49%, say they fear for their personal safety in this state. And with over 22 million people spread across a peninsula battered by hurricanes, flooding, and rising costs, choosing the wrong city in Florida isn't just a financial mistake. It could genuinely affect your quality of life. So the real question isn't whether to move to Florida. The question is, where in Florida do you actually want to be? Because while some parts of this state rank among the most dangerous communities in America, others rank among the safest places to live in the entire country. The gap between them can be as little as 15 miles. Today, we are going deep on the data. We pulled the FBI's most recent crime reports, cross-referenced violent and property crime rates per 100,000 residents, and factored in real costs, schools, and hurricane exposure. These are the 10 safest places to live in Florida in 2026. And what makes each of them actually worth considering? If you are new here, this channel covers the real side of living in Florida: the costs, the crime, the opportunities, and the cities most people overlook. Hit subscribe so you never miss a breakdown. Before we get into the cities, it is worth understanding what safe actually means when we talk about Florida. Florida's statewide violent crime rate sits at approximately 267 incidents per 100,000 people. The national average is 359 per 100,000. So in that sense, Florida as a whole actually performs better than the country at large, a fact that often surprises people, but averages mask enormous variation. The statewide number is dragged up by a handful of urban hotspots. Cities like Florida City, Opa-locka, and Riviera Beach, where residents face odds of victimization that are genuinely alarming. Meanwhile, in the cities on this list, violent crime rates fall to as low as 14 per 100,000, nearly 96% below the national average. The data we are working from comes from the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program for the year 2024, released in September 2025. We are measuring of violent crimes: murder, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault, as well as property crimes including burglary and theft, calculated per 100,000 residents. Here are the 10 safest places to live in Florida right now. Number 10 is the Villages, and while it is not for everyone, it belongs on this list because, for the right person, it may be the single most optimized safe community in America. The Villages is a master-planned retirement community in Central Florida, straddling Sumter, Lake, and Marion counties. With a population now exceeding 130,000, it is not really a city in the conventional sense. It is an entire self-contained world built specifically around the needs, preferences, and safety of active adults. The Villages is among the safest places in Florida, reporting low crime rates, a strong police presence, and active community involvement. Crime in the Villages is exceptionally low by any benchmark, driven by a combination of gated access points, round-the-clock security patrols, dense social engagement, and a demographic that simply does not produce high crime rates. The community has over 600 miles of golf cart paths, 350-plus recreational clubs, and a healthcare infrastructure purpose-built for aging residents. The Villages also sits in Central Florida, one of the regions identified as among the safest from direct hurricane impact, giving it a natural disaster risk profile considerably better than coastal retirement alternatives. If you are retired or approaching retirement, and safety, community, and healthcare access are your primary criteria, the Villages is worth serious evaluation. It is not a city for everyone. The minimum age requirement is 55 for most residents. But for its intended population, it delivers on its promises more consistently than almost any other community in Florida. Number 9 is Safety Harbor, a small city on the western shore of Tampa Bay that has been quietly climbing national safety rankings for several years running. SafeWise identifies Safety Harbor as one of the top 5 safest cities in Florida, based on FBI crime data. And its combination of small-town charm with proximity to Tampa makes it one of the most strategically located cities on this entire list. Safety Harbor sits on Old Tampa Bay in Pinellas County, with a population of around 17,000. It has a genuine historic downtown, walkable, charming, with independent restaurants and a distinct local identity that distinguishes it from the sprawling suburban developments that dominate so much of the Tampa Bay area. What makes Safety Harbor particularly appealing in 2026 is its accessibility. Tampa International Airport is less than 30 minutes away. Downtown Tampa and St. Petersburg are both within easy reach. You get the safety and the small-town atmosphere of a low-crime community while remaining fully connected to one of Florida's most dynamic metropolitan economies. Housing costs sit below the Tampa Bay average, and the city has invested significantly in its waterfront parks and recreation infrastructure. For professionals, remote workers, or early retirees who want safety without isolation, Safety Harbor is one of the smartest choices in the entire state right now. Number 8 is Oviedo. And unlike most cities on this list, it is actually affordable. Located just northeast of Orlando in Seminole County, Oviedo has emerged as one of Central Florida's most desirable communities, with strong schools, safe streets, and a price point that still makes sense for middle-income families. Oviedo earns an A+ rating from Niche, excelling in its public schools and family-friendly environment. Oviedo is among the cities that offer relatively affordable housing, safe neighborhoods, and a growing community, making it one of the top options for families seeking both safety and livability without the price tag of South Florida markets. Oviedo has another major advantage that most of this list does not. It sits well inland, which provides meaningful protection from the direct hurricane impacts that threaten coastal communities. Central Florida cities like Orlando and its surrounding suburbs see fewer severe hurricane impacts compared to coastal counterparts, making areas like Oviedo significantly safer from a natural disaster standpoint. The city has grown considerably in the past decade, and with that growth comes strong employment access, particularly in Orlando's tech, healthcare, and tourism sectors. For families relocating from out of state who want safety, good school, and a livable cost of living, Oviedo consistently checks more boxes than almost any other city on this list. Number 7 is Naples, one of the wealthiest cities in the United States and one of the safest in Florida. Naples, located on the Gulf Coast, has a violent crime rate of 1.17 per 1,000 residents. That remains dramatically below both state and national benchmarks. Naples consistently ranks as one of the safest cities to live in Florida. With its low crime rates, excellent schools, and strong sense of community, Naples is ideal for families looking for peace of mind. The city is also known for its pristine beaches, parks, and overall high quality of life, backed by a proactive police force and consistently low crime statistics. Naples sits at the southern end of the Gulf Coast in Collier County, which reported the lowest violent crime rate of any county in Florida at 51.9 per 100,000, according to the Florida Department of Health's most recent report. What sets Naples apart is the depth of its infrastructure. This is a city with world-class healthcare, a vibrant art scene, excellent dining, and some of the most beautiful white sand beaches in the country. It attracts a significant retiree population, and that demographic tends to correlate with lower crime, strong civic investment, and well-funded public services. The trade-off is straightforward. Naples is expensive. Median home prices in Naples regularly exceed $700,000, and the overall cost of living is well above the national average. But for those entering retirement with the financial cushion to afford it, Naples may be the single best combination of safety, climate, healthcare access, and coastal lifestyle in Florida. Number 6 is Niceville, a Panhandle city with a name that sounds made up but a safety record that is very much real. Niceville is located in the northwestern part of Florida with a population of 16,345 and a median salary of $76,823 per year. The city has a livability score of 87 out of 100, which is exceptional. The crime rate in Niceville is 84% lower than the Florida average. Niceville sits in Okaloosa County, adjacent to Eglin Air Force Base, which partially explains its strong community infrastructure, low crime, and stable economic base. Military communities tend to have higher levels of civic engagement, neighborhood watch participation, and law enforcement cooperation, and Niceville reflects that in its numbers. Niceville continues to rank among the safest places to live in Florida, driven by strong neighborhood watch programs, community policing, and local events that bring residents together to foster a genuine sense of security. The cost of living here is considerably more accessible than South Florida markets, and the natural setting, surrounded by forests, the Boggy Bayou, and the Gulf just minutes away, gives Niceville a lifestyle quality that far outpunches its price point. If you want safety and affordability together, the Panhandle in general, and Niceville specifically, is one of the most underrated options in the entire state. Number 5 is Parkland, another Broward County city located just north of Weston, and one of the safest municipalities in the country by any measure. Parkland reports just 0.16 violent crimes per 1,000 residents, among the lowest rates in America. The city's schools consistently rank among Florida's best, with Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School and West Glades Middle School achieving A ratings and student proficiency rates between 77 and 80%. Well above state averages. Parkland's overall crime rate is 75% lower than the national average and 73% lower than the Florida average. Parkland is a planned suburban community surrounded by the Everglades on the west and the suburban sprawl of South Florida on the east. It has become one of the most sought-after addresses in the region for families who want top-tier schools, safe streets, and well-maintained neighborhoods within commuting distance of Fort Lauderdale and Miami. The city maintains higher than average law enforcement staffing and has invested in advanced surveillance technology across its public spaces. The cost of living in Parkland is among the highest of any city on this list. On average, housing is 194% higher than the Florida average, and the overall cost of living is approximately 1.5 times the national average. This is not a city for budget-conscious buyers. But if schools and safety are your top 2 priorities and budget is not your primary constraint, Parkland delivers on both without compromise. Number 4 is Weston. And if you have a family, this city deserves serious attention. Weston was ranked the number 3 best place to live in Florida and the number 9 safest place to live in the entire United States for 2025 through 2026. It is a master-planned community with A-rated public and charter schools. Located near Miami and Fort Lauderdale, Weston has a low violent crime rate of 0.4 per 1,000 residents. For context, that is more than 90% below the national average. Weston has a population of 68,311 with 27 violent crimes and 262 property crimes reported in the most recent year. What makes Weston stand apart from other safe Florida cities is how deliberately it was designed. Everything here, the parks, the road layout, the school zones, the community centers, was built from scratch with livability as the primary goal. The result is a city that feels clean, organized, and genuinely functional in a way that many Florida communities do not. In Weston, the crime rate is 80% lower than the national average, and an individual has a 1 in 210 chance of becoming a victim of crime in this city. Weston's one consistent criticism is its cost. The median salary in this area is $93,883, and housing reflects that demographic. This is an affluent suburb of Fort Lauderdale, and prices match accordingly. But for families who can afford it, Weston consistently delivers on schools, safety, and suburban quality of life better than almost anywhere else in the state. Number 3 is Marco Island, a city that has held a top 2 spot on Florida safety rankings for the better part of a decade. According to the FBI's City Agency report for 2024, Marco Island, with a population of 16,326, recorded just 10 violent crimes and 67 property crimes in the full reporting year for a total of 77 crime cases. Marco Island consistently ranks among Florida's safest cities with crime rates 60 to 70% below national averages. Marco Island is the largest of Florida's 10,000 islands, sitting just south of Naples on the Gulf Coast. It is, in a word, beautiful. White sand beaches, clear, shallow Gulf waters, abundant wildlife. A relaxed resort town atmosphere that draws both full-time residents and seasonal visitors year-round. Marco Island has a tight-knit community, low crime rates, and an active local law enforcement presence, making it ideal for retirees, families, and anyone looking for a peaceful coastal lifestyle. The trade-off with Marco Island is twofold. First, the cost of living is high. This is a luxury coastal market, and median home prices reflect that. Second, the island sits in a flood-vulnerable zone. Marco Island's flooding risk is expected to remain high over the next 30 years, which is an important consideration for anyone buying property here. Flood insurance premiums in coastal Southwest Florida have increased significantly in recent years, and that cost needs to be factored into any housing budget. That said, as a place to live, Marco Island delivers an unmatched quality of life at a genuinely exceptional level of safety. Number 2 is Vero Beach, a city that has climbed the rankings dramatically in recent years, and depending on which data source you consult, may actually be Florida's single safest city right now. With a population of 17,622, Vero Beach boasts a violent crime rate of just 0.3 per 1,000 residents, and a property crime rate of 2.7 per 1,000. In the most recent reporting cycle, it was one of the only cities in the state to report 0 rapes and 0 motor vehicle thefts. In the latest 2026 SafeWise report, Vero Beach officially claimed the title of Florida's safest city, with the lowest combined violent and property crime rates among qualifying communities. Located on Florida's Treasure Coast, the Atlantic side, about halfway between Orlando and Miami, Vero Beach sits in a different world from both. It is often described as Old Florida, slower pace, uncrowded beaches, a genuine downtown with local restaurants, and a historic theater district. Unlike the overdeveloped coastal cities to its south, Vero Beach has managed to preserve a sense of place that feels increasingly rare. While Marco Island often ranks for ultra-low overall crime, and Parkland shines for family-friendly safety with top schools, Vero Beach's 2026 designation highlights its unique blend: exceptional security, pristine Atlantic beaches, and a relaxed charm without the overcrowding of South Florida hotspots. Housing in Vero Beach is also considerably more accessible than much of coastal Florida, making it attractive for retirees on fixed incomes as well as young families priced out of the Palm Beaches. If you want safety, coast access, and affordability in one package, Vero Beach belongs at the top of your list. Number 1 on the list, and the city that consistently tops FBI-based rankings for the entire state of Florida, is Gulf Breeze. If you have never heard of it, you are not alone. Gulf Breeze sits in the Florida Panhandle, just across Pensacola Bay from Pensacola proper. It has a population of just under 7,000 people. It is small, quiet, and by virtually every measurable standard, it is the safest city in Florida. Gulf Breeze recorded just 1 violent crime in the most recent reporting year. giving it a violent crime rate of 14.3 per 100,000 residents. Your chance of being the victim of a violent crime in Gulf Breeze is 1 in 6,991. That compares to a 1 in 374 chance statewide. And it is 96% lower than the national violent crime rate of 359 per 100,000. Gulf Breeze receives an A-plus grade from Crime Grade, ranking in the 97th percentile for safety nationwide, meaning it is safer than 97% of all American cities. The median home listing price in Gulf Breeze as of May 2025 was $486,500, higher than you might expect for a small Panhandle town, which reflects just how desirable this community has become. What you get for that price is access to stunning white sand beaches on the Gulf of Mexico, top-rated schools in the Santa Rosa County District, and a genuinely tight-knit community atmosphere that is almost impossible to find in Florida's larger metros. Gulf Breeze is ideal for families, retirees, and remote workers who want coastal living without the chaos of Miami or the congestion of Tampa. Its one drawback is hurricane exposure. Being on the Panhandle, it sits in a direct path for Gulf storms. But the community has invested heavily in resilient infrastructure over the past decade. So there you have it. 10 cities in Florida, where the data says you can genuinely feel safe in 2026. From the Panhandle charm of Gulf Breeze and Nisaville, to the Atlantic coast's tranquility of Vero Beach, to the planned suburban excellence of Weston and Parkland, to the retirement infrastructure of Naples and the Villages. Florida's safest communities cover a wide range of lifestyles, budgets, and priorities. But here is the important takeaway: safety in Florida is not random. It is geographic, economic, and demographic. The cities on this list share common threads: strong civic investment, active community policing, economic stability, and in most cases, intentional urban planning. They are not safe by accident, they are safe by design. The flip side of that is also true. Florida has cities where the risks are real and measurable, where property crime, violent crime, and hurricane exposure combine to create genuine hardship for residents who did not do their homework before signing a lease. Florida rewards the informed. If you are planning a move to the Sunshine State, go beyond the beach photos and the real estate listings. Look at the crime data, factor in flood zones, check the school ratings. Talk to people who actually live there. The information is available. The gap between Florida's best and worst communities is enormous, and the choice, ultimately, is yours. Thanks for watching. If this breakdown helped you think more clearly about your options in Florida, subscribe and stay with us. We go deep on every city in Florida. The costs, the risks, the realities, and the opportunities that most people never find out about until it is too late. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and we will see you in the next one.